there's a rare occurrence in TV and film where all the loose ends are tied up. We call this closure. When you consider from the likes of the Batman series that was cancelled after the infamous Batman and Robin, to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man series and to the Fantastic Four from the mid-2000s, they had no sense of closure. One of the few that has this distinct honour is the Dark Knight trilogy that ran from 2005 to 2012, in which we saw Bruce Wayne's journey and end with him passing the baton to John Blake after saving Gotham from the remnants of the League of Shadows. And that brings us to this 1990 telefilm, The Death of the Incredible Hulk, in which Bill Bixby makes his final appearance as Dr. David Banner, ending the story of the TV series that began in 1978. So I have to ask this question. Has this held up over the last 31 years, or will this be another case of Hulk sad? Let's find out as we witness the death of the Incredible Hulk. The story follows the formula that we know from the TV series, with Banner working under an assumed name, doing mundane work as a means of cover while he attempts to find a cure for his affliction. This movie has a similar plot to 1988's Return of the Incredible Hulk, where David seems to be onto a strong possibility of a cure, as he had been studying Dr. Pratt's research that could yield results, as the research seemed to be similar to what he had been studying in 1978, where he was looking for hidden strength, whereas Pratt was looking for the healing power. The first transformation comes within the first 6 minutes, and I suppose this was a means of trying to quell the criticism from the last movie, as there was a major lack of Hulk. And it's what you'd expect. David is trying to mind his own business, gets assaulted and bursts out of his shirt, and then proceeds to lay waste to a couple of heavies that'd make WWE's Mean Street Posse look credible. With this movie, the main arcing plot is of David sneaking into Dr. Ronald Pratt's lab at night and correcting his research with the healing formula, hoping that it may hold the key to ridding himself of his gamma-powered alter ego. The other good part of this main plot is the bonding David has with the Pratts, him being accepted as a surrogate son whilst they prepare to run tests on the Hulk after Ronald persuaded David that he would be able to contain the creature. This leads to the second Hulk out, with the Pratts bewildered at what they witnessed, which later follows a similar feeling when David witnesses the playback on video. This is the first time David has actually seen the creature. There was the dream sequence from Season 2's Married, but for canon purposes this doesn't count, and it could be put up to David imagining what the Hulk would look like. The subplot is of Yasmin working as a spy for a Russian espionage group trying to steal Ronald Pratt's research on genetic healing, and I suppose it adds that proverbial wrench in the works, but it slows the pacing down and really serves no point to the plot other than to hinder David's quest to cure himself of his troubles. But then, it wouldn't be a Hulk TV story if Banner didn't have his chances of peace and salvation hindered. Just like in the 90s animated series, right when Banner was on the verge of realizing peace within himself, he gets the rug pulled out from underneath him. The rest of the movie just sees David abandoning his quest for a cure, and instead, he and Yasmin look to help Ronald out of his coma and then rescuing him and his wife Amy from Ashenko and her cronies. The bonding of David and Yasmin provides some pleasant filler, and it allows Banner to feel love for the first time since the death of his fellow scientist, Elena, from the TV pilot in 1978. This sees the first love scene in the Hulk TV series canon, and I was surprised to see this get past the PG-13 censors, as this is not exactly something you'd have in a family show, which for all intents and purposes the TV series was. These days, you would get discreet and subtle uses, as seen in 2008's Iron Man, after Tony Stark had invited a reporter back to his Malibu beach house, with a score that was clearly inspired by James Bond. It was never done to the effect of seeing two characters in bed sharing said love scene, so for 1990 standards, this was ballsy. The death of Hulk and Banner is handled with a lot of grace and humility. For 12 years, he had been a seemingly invincible force of power, now reduced to a being humbled by a fall, and despite what I may think of the bloated subplot, the ending is done with such grace and tenderness. I suppose from one angle you could make the argument that it's closure in some sense, that David got his wish of peace. But I think the character, as well as the audience, would have appreciated it under better context. So, it's a bittersweet ending to a man's blight. In his final appearance as the fugitive scientist on the run with a gamma-powered affliction, he gives a great performance of a man with hope in his eyes, realizing he is closer than before at realizing a cure and salvation for an experiment that went wrong 12 years prior. The way he delivers his last line ever,
"Loves me. I am free."
as he was slipping away, having turned back after a fatal fall to where Banner realizes his salvation and freedom after being cursed for so many years, was heartbreaking. So many people had seen the character suffer after that iconic pilot episode in 1978, and to see David slip away was a bittersweet closure for the character. Lou was used more than the previous telefilm, which I suppose in hindsight was good when you realise that this would be his last appearance as the character in a movie. I really liked his portrayal as Ronald. He comes across as logical, sincere and genuine concern for David's condition, and being assertive in that he has to see Banner's transformation for himself, as he knows that David wants this cure badly. Barbara is a good supporting player with great chemistry with Philip as his wife, and almost acting as a surrogate mother to Banner in the way that Ronald had acted as a surrogate father figure to him. Okay, I appreciate that this was operating under a TV budget and that you have to be selective with whom you cast due to financial reasons. I understand. But surely, they could have cast someone else rather than an actress with acting and emotional range of a wet dishcloth.
Look folks, I'm gonna be real here. Grayson was just awful as Yasmin, particularly the way she delivers her line of
David, don't die. We could be free now.
Look folks, what can I say? That delivery just had no conviction nor substance.
I think about the only highlight for some viewers is that she shared a love scene with Banner. Anna plays Yasmin's sister, who turns out to be the mysterious Ashenko that was forcing her sister to do spy assignments against her will. And just like her on-screen sister, she has about as much acting depth and range of a goldfish.
Look folks, it's like this. When you have the combined acting capabilities of both Megan Fox and Tia Leone, you're setting yourself up for failure.
I feel like the only decent effects are when the Hulk outs occur and to seeing him smash through the walls during the first transformation. The white contacts still look impressive, and it helps that Bill really sells it with his facial expressions. The visual effect of the laser used on Banner during the experiment looks really cheap, even for 90s standards. When the effects used on the original Knight Rider whenever Kit would fire his laser look more convincing, then as ever, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Because that was tech from 1982 and this is a movie 8 years later. The explosion of the small charter plane looks cheap behind Lou after it's implied the Hulk jumped free in time. The score for this flick is mostly irritating by Lance Rubin. The only mildly redeemable pieces would be the romantic exchanges between Banner and Yasmin, and the first encounter between Banner and Ronald when he catches Banner helping him with his research. The ending theme, Something Ends, which was performed by Chris Ford, is somewhat flat, but it does provide a very somber and moving moment when it's realised for the characters and the audience that this is it for the Hulk. However, the close-up of Hulk as he's falling to the ground with this bewildered look on his face makes it difficult to take it seriously, as you end up laughing rather than crying in such a sad and touching moment when we see the Hulk and Banner at the end of their lives, with this emotional exchange between Banner and Yasmin as he slowly slips away. Just like every episode of the TV series, the final moment of the movie is scored to the Lonely Man theme, which has more of a sad and somber meaning than ever now, that his journey was done. The movie would have seen a follow-up with The Revenge of the Incredible Hulk, with Banner now being revived and free of his curse, and even incorporating that the Hulk would have Banner's mind. Iron Man was also being considered. Now, try to picture an Iron Man suit in a telefilm back in the early 90s.
Yeah, no.
Death of the Incredible Hulk would have featured the introduction of the She-Hulk, just as the previous two movies had featured Thor and Daredevil. This would have seen Bridget Nielsen playing the Jade Green Amazon with a cape. Let that image sink in.
I'd rather not.
The sequel was cancelled due to the disapproving ratings for the death of the Incredible Hulk. As mentioned earlier, this was the final appearance of Bill Bixby as Dr. David Banner, as he would succumb to cancer after slipping into a coma and never waking up. He passed away on November 21, 1993. He was 59 years young. Bill Bixby remains to this day the most iconic portrayal of Dr. Banner, of which Marvel producer Kevin Feige saw Edward Norton as being a modern-day version of Bill Bixby.
The movie has been enjoyed on TV, VHS, and DVD since 1990. I'm MJ Knight, and we witnessed the death of the Incredible Hulk. These days, you would see discrete uses as seen in 2008's Iron Man, where Tony Stark invited a reporter back to his Malibu beach house with a... Hulk don't like bloopers, I'm well aware. Hulk want to go have fun with Yasmin. Nope, none of that. Okay. The name's Stark. Tony Stark. License to quip. Your mission 00 Stark, should you accept it? Go a whole movie without being a savage. Oh, Jarvis, you know I can't do that. Yes, I know, sir. And your mission, should you accept it? Take Win the Rogue out for a date, and it's when like, Tony Stark? He just looks like, oh please, I do not act like that. Raiden. Really? Lids? Steven. Don't get me involved in this. Tony, what am I doing here for? I'm supposed to be on Twitch. I'm gonna go buy more bits. Usually that's my job. Oh yeah, that's right. Steve, say a pun. Crime and punishment? 500 bits! Really? I can make it 50,500 bits it is. And then you watch it and it's like, Steven, yes. Okay. Ooh, very posh, very sophisticated. I'm the incredible, sophisticated posh Hulk. Ooh, look at me, I've torn my tux again. Ooh, I'll just have to get Mr. Fix-It's suit again. I have to press and iron that up and go look all swanky around the town. It's like, imagine like, Grey Hulk was like, oh heck no dude, I don't sound like that. And there's Raiden like, ooh, the eloquent, sophisticated Hulk, going round the town, smashing it up. Go in and disrupts Oni's livestream on Twitch. It's the grey and sophisticated Grey Hulk. It's not bad.